Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aaronica and this is Aaronica B. Cole & Co., where we talk about plus size sewing as well as just some things that are going on in the sewing world or crafting world, period. So that brings us to today's topic. Now, a couple of months ago, I did do a vloggy vlog on Joann's filing bankruptcy. Listen, when y'all came for me, I mean, y'all came for me tooth and nail, like they are not going out of business left and right. I'd never said that. So that is a little introduction to our actual topic for today. Let's do a little update situation and talk about it. So again, let's talk about it. Joann's filed bankruptcy earlier this year. Now, the type of bankruptcy they filed was not like the bankruptcy that sends businesses shutting down doors, completely shutting down the entire business. That was not the type of bankruptcy that they filed. In fact, in the caption of my first video linked here, I did talk about the different type of bankruptcy that they actually filed because they were restructuring their debt. What debt, you're asking? So Joann's had more than 1.1 billion, yeah, we're not talking about million, $1 billion of debt that they had to navigate through. Now, what they have done, it took them about a month and a half to go ahead and restructure, slash, spread, et cetera, that debt in order for them to go ahead and come out of that bankruptcy. Now, in my opinion, I do think that was a short amount of time, and cheers to Joann's. We celebrate not being brought down by debt because it can be a scary thing if we're being completely honest. Am I right? Like, I don't know if y'all have ever heard of some of the tragedies that bankruptcy can really cause. But honestly, it's such a good thing that this was not something that took Joann's out. Many people were really concerned on whether or not they would be able to recover from this, and it looks like they have. But what does that mean, them coming out of this bankruptcy after a month and a half? Is all the debt gone? How do they pay it back? Questions that need answering. Am I right? Now, according to biz journals and according to the Cleveland Business Journal, the reason why I am citing the Cleveland Business Journal is because Joann's was actually founded and headquartered in Ohio. So I feel like they definitely have accuracy spot on when it comes to what is going on with Joann's, right? So apparently, according to them, they went ahead and they actually halved the total amount due. Now, if you've ever been sent to a bill collector, you know they set up those payment arrangements. So shout out to them for setting up a payment arrangement for $1.1 billion, okay? Also, like, can we do something about these student loans? That's all I'm saying. I just feel like if we could forgive $500 million of debt for Joann's, student loans should just be, for all of them, just forgiven. Anyway, I digress because I don't know if y'all are on board with that or not. That is just how I feel about that. You feel me? So what does that mean, them coming out, slashing their debts, etc.? So they managed to go ahead and arrange to only have to pay back half of the $1.1 billion that is outstanding for them. So what does that mean going forward? The reason why they were able to go ahead and come out of bankruptcy is now they are privately owned by the people who they owe money to. So that was part of their deal, which honestly, I feel like is kind of smart, right? What do you think? Just let me know what you think about that in the comments. So, in addition to coming out of their bankruptcy, being privately owned, they also came out with $153 million more of financing. So, that's a really good thing because that means that Joann's is able to kind of, one, of course, keep their stores open, two, pay off their employees, vendors, etc. But also, this means that they are able to keep business going, buy new product that they think is going to do well, that sort of thing. So, Joann's, shout out to y'all for being on the up and getting out of that sticky situation. Now, of course, I do still supporting small businesses as well as online retailers. But if you are someone who likes to shop in person, this is really great news for you. Also, if you're a Joann's employee or if someone in your family is, I know that this is excellent news for you because in the economy that we have right now, we need all the jobs that we can get. You feel me? Listen, I gotta take the mic off of this here top. It's like it, yes, I made this. It's super cute, but y'all, it is not friendly to like having a mic hanging on it. Okay. So we're just gonna be holding a mic and talking with our hands going forward. All right. And honestly, it's a little bit easier for me because I like to stop and start my camera. with my mic. So, what are they doing differently to try to prevent them from going back into bankruptcy again? But before we do that, let's talk very briefly about kind of what led them into getting into bankruptcy. Now, when the pandemic hit, everybody and their mama was at home sewing, crafting, etc., right? And so in truth, prior to the panini, they were actually kind of in danger at that point in time as well, which is mind blowing to someone like me because I feel like I keep Joann's in business, right? Like I feel like between fabric, random crafts that I now try to master, etc., going there for kids' projects and stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, your girl is keeping Joann's in business. And I know many of you feel like you're keeping Joann's in business too. But of course, with the rise of course, Hobby Lobby and Michaels as being their competitors, they took a hit as well. Plus, even though the Panini definitely bigged up their sales big time, then when everybody started going back outside, they were like, we don't need these machines. That was why we saw so many of those senior heavy duties on Facebook Marketplace because people didn't need them. People had moved past it. The moment had passed for them. However, for us, the people who sew and have been crafting prior to the panini, we were like, we still need a place to go to get our stuff though. So, what's going on? But because of that, Joann's definitely took a hit because all of the product and all of the merch that they were moving before, they were no longer moving. In fact, in 2011, they underwent like redoing all of their e-commerce and stuff like that. I feel like they need to redo that as well. Can't just be me. Like, I love that we have an app, but also it could be a little bit better, just in my humble opinion. So, that is what led them to being just kind of in the financial doghouse. Again, very proud of them for getting out of it though. So, what are they doing going forward? Now, this decision in what they're doing is something that I am loving. So, in a most recent ad, they've gone ahead and rebranded as Joann, like Joe dash and. Why? Because, and now listen, I think this is so smart. Why? Because, like, I often say to people, why live in an or world when we could live in an and world? Ha. Yes. And Joann's is doing this. I'm not saying that they bit off of what I normally say, but I am saying that it's wise that they did this. Why? Because what they are trying to do is press the creativity as well as open up that level of inclusivity to others. And so when you put in the word and, it limits, or rather it removes the limits from just being fabric or just being this or just being that. One of the other things that they are doing is they are pressing forward with utilizing social media influencers. Now, of course, one, I myself as a social media influencer who happens to have their patterns sold at Joann's and 100% fully on board with this. Yes, please. I love this for us. But also, they're focusing a lot on Gen Z. Now, I am not a Gen Zer, so I may have a feeling or two about this, but I do think that this is wise. Why? Because, and again, if you're older, please do not take offense to this, but we're seeing, of course, the boomers, etc. We all have the cycle of life, right? And the cycle of life comes to an end at some point in time. In order for our crafts to remain crafting or remain just kind of out there as something that is a possibility for us to do, we really have to be tapping into this younger generation, teaching them, encouraging them, making it readily available as well as accessible for them to go ahead and pursue. And by refocusing the attention on this younger generation, your girl is an elder or a geriatric millennial. I'll keep that title. It's fine. But refocusing this attention on the younger generation definitely makes it so that way these things are being passed down and kept alive. So smart move, Joann's. Very smart move. Now, redoing their marketing is obviously something that I do think they needed to do, right? Refocusing on the younger generations, very smart in my humble opinion. Now, some of the other things that I do think that they should be doing is possibly doing some more retraining of their employees. The reason why I say that is because I had a really horrible experience recently. In fact, the last time that I went into a Joann's that was by me, the lady actually threw my fabric receipt at me and was completely unfriendly to both myself and my kids. Now, Joann's reached out to me, as did the district manager, to make sure that we could kind of go over and settle that interaction. Because for me, that's not standard. Now, I don't always get hit with the friendliest of people, but I have also met some of the most talented sewists that have been men as well at Joann's. So I don't think that it's something that is company wide. In addition to some training, I do also think that they should be making sure that all of their stores have enough employees working there, because it's hard to give good customer service when you are feeling like you are here, there, over there, and you're not being supported by the greater organization. Lastly, I do also think that they need to update a lot of their in stores, right? Because there's a store here in the Atlanta area where you go in and they don't even have lights. Like, their light bulbs are out. How are we supposed to see fabric? How are we supposed to see what we're shopping for if we can't even get light bulbs here? So yes, I do think that a bulk of their money should be going towards those marketing efforts, which obviously I am 1000% on board with. But I do think there needs to be some additional things that are done. Now, someone in my comment section on my last video did also bring up that they feel like Joann's does not have a focus, right? And I agree with that, right? Because we get everything from, my goodness, I'm having a brain fart, but we get everything literally from outside decor to fabric to knitting to just random, like, knickknacks around the house. It's giving a little bit like Tuesday Morning. No shade to Tuesday Morning, but they don't sell fabric or anything like that. What I will say is that I think that Joann's, for a period of time, really tried to not be Joann Fabrics, and they did not want to be labeled as a fabric store. But honestly, I feel like really kind of niching down is going to be something that pays off well. Anytime I coach businesses, anytime I coach like influencers and things like that, I do encourage them to niche down. Why? Because there's enough like random things out there where people can kind of find where they fit in. The beautiful thing about when you niche down is if someone is searching, they're going to find you, right? People are sewing still. People are still doing it. They should remove themselves from being similar to, say, a Hobby Lobby. Literally, Hobby Lobby is called Hobby Lobby, aka craft hallway. Why? Because they are doing all of the hobbies. They got puzzles, they got everything. Like, they literally have a little bit of anything. I don't think that they should set themselves up to be competitors of Michael's and a Hobby Lobby. I think that they should have been setting themselves up to replace a Hancock Fabrics this entire time. Why? Because, listen, it's okay to niche down. So I agree with the person who said that. And I do think that once they go ahead and reestablish themselves as being a go-to, then beginning to branch back out again can be something that could obviously work in their favor. But I don't think that there is anything wrong with niching down. So it's your turn. Tell me what you all think about this new direction that Joann's is taking as far as their marketing campaigns goes, and drop any ideas for what you think that they should be doing as well. Who knows? Maybe they'll watch this and be like, that girl is onto something, and so are her subbies, and they give good advice too. So we could possibly, I don't know, share a little influence, because we are all influencers, with Joann's and seeing and doing what it is that we think would be most beneficial to them. So I'm interested to know what you all think. So make sure that you drop a comment. Again, if you haven't already liked, subscribed, hearted, done all of the things for my channel, make sure that you do it. So yeah, but I will catch you all on the flip side, and I can't wait to record a new video for you. Until next time, see you later.